Hello, welcome to Happy Life Results Book Group.
Hey everyone.
We have an exciting announcement. Today is the first day of stage 3.
The hero stage.
Been preparing for this all year.
Here we are. The day has arrived.
Yep. So
we're going to be going through a number of tips for the hero stage specifically. So it's going to be several days to go through this material, and what is the whole point of the tips for the hero stage? What is the hero stage?
Okay, so you're very familiar with the guide stage, where you were able to understand the ideas in theory and then translate it into your own language, your own words, make it meaningful for you, your own stories and analogies, and just make it your own. That was all in the guide stage. So now in the hero stage, you get to apply it in your life. You get to actually take the idea, the concept, and try it out and then observe. And so it's a really powerful stage because it starts to become effortless.
And this is where the changes happen, where you get the results. Before it was learning the theory, now it's getting actual results by applying the concepts.
Yeah, so there's four things, suggestions that are tips for you. So just if you think of other ones, add them to your hero journal. Have we talked about the hero journal?
Oh, so up to this point you have a guidebook. And we also, we probably could remind them that the hero stage, instead of referring back to the earlier parts of the guide concepts and things, now you'll be using your guidebook that you've prepared and the hero source. So the Stacy's book for the hero pages, plus the guide concepts that you've already written your translations of in your guidebook. Those are the two tools you'll be using in this section.
So hopefully you've taken the guide concepts from the book, translated them into your own language, into your guidebook, and that's what you're going to be relying on as you go through the application stage. Refer back to your own guidebook. Instead of the guide sections in my book, you'll refer to your own book, your guidebook, and then do the application steps. So that's really a powerful, it's going to be powerful as you do this. And if you feel stuck, if you feel like you need a little extra information, you're not sure what the guidebook is saying, feel free to go back and look at the text, the original text, and compare. But as much as possible, don't rely on the text from Happy Life Results book. Rely on your own book that you wrote.
And also, if you feel stuck in any way, post a comment to us.
Yes.
Send us your questions. Send us like, hey, I'm running into this, or I was trying to put this down in my own words and I kind of got stuck. Give us a holler and we'd be happy to help as well.
Yes, it's really exciting. All right, so the 4 things. You can look in the text because we'll have it posted either in the description in YouTube or as part of the post in Facebook. But just read through it and the one I want to focus on this video is number 2. And there are kind of 3 different ways you can look at each concept. So if you look at the concept and say, does it feel natural? Does it just describe the way things are, the way I do things? It's just how I am on a consistent basis. So that's number 1. And number 2 is, do you see that you could live differently according to this idea? So you look at the idea and you're like, oh, I could shift this or change this, or if I did it this way, it would be living more according to this concept or idea. And then the third one is, does it reside in a more of a theoretical space where it makes sense, but you have yet to consider life application? So there you could, it makes sense, and you could even teach someone about it. Theoretically, you could be the gym teacher that tells people how to exercise, even if you're not exercising yet yourself. You can understand it well enough to teach it to someone else, and you've put it in your own words, but it's still just kind of theory. You're like, I don't know how my life would be different if I applied this. So that's the third one. So what I would encourage you to do as you're going through your hero stage is to keep in mind these 3 things and just kind of look at the concept and say, which one applies more to this particular concept? Some concepts, you may have already embraced just instantly hearing it and it's a part of your life and you're like, oh yeah, that's me, I consistently do that. And then other areas it will be a little more like in the theoretical space.
So then the hero stage is figuring out how to move it from that theoretical
Yes.
phase into actual.
Ideally, all the concepts will end up in that natural,
Mhm.
effortless, I do this consistently stage.
Yeah, effortless. I don't even have to tell myself to do this.
Yeah.
I just naturally do it this way.
Yeah, and that's the difference between the lens and the perspective. The word, and the way that I use the word perspective and the way I use lens. Perspective is when you, in the moment, say, oh, I could look at this differently. And then you try to adjust in the moment. And it's very conscious. It's not instinctive yet. And it requires conscious thought and focus. So that's kind of one. And then that's the perspective. And then the lens is, it's the way you look at life now. It's effortless, and you don't even realize that's the lens you're using because it's so effortless. It's just the way that it is. And if you take a step back and say, well, how did it used to be? What lens was I looking through before? You can see contrast. It's super helpful if you have someone else in your life to point out the difference, the change that you've made. I have Jason, which he regularly helps me see how I used to be, to see, oh my gosh, I have changed my lens. Because once your lens is changed, it is the way you see things.
Forward, present, and backwards. When you look backwards, you see it through the current lens.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
you see the events the way you perceive them now, not how you did back then.
Yes.
So, yeah.
So it's really helpful to have someone else. And then if you have someone else, then ask them, say, what changes have you seen that I've made? What are some things that I used to struggle with that now are effortless for me? And so it's fun. It's fun to have someone else. And if you don't have someone else, then just like document it for yourself. Journal it, yeah, and put comments. You can even use our group as a way to document your progress, because you could say, I don't understand this idea, and then you come back to it later and say, oh my gosh, now I understand it, and now it's not theoretical anymore. So yeah, that's what I wanted to say about this one. So did you have anything to add?
Nope, I'm good.
Okay, see you tomorrow.
Okay, see you tomorrow.